Firstly, I'd like to say thank you all for coming and being here tonight. It's incredible to see you all here. And I'd just like to ask you for a moment, having made the choice to live in that car. So you were in a position where your choice as the safest option you had to be was to live or sleep in this car. Well, a few years ago, Emerge supported a woman who we will call Sarah. The violence had gotten so bad at home that Sarah did feel safer sleeping in her car with her 2 children, one of whom was disabled. She felt safer sleeping in that car than she did returning home or staying in the motel that another family violence service provider had sent her to. In Australia, 1 woman each week dies from family violence. 1 in 4 children are exposed to family violence. So this means in the average Australian classroom, or your child's classroom, there'll be roughly 3 or 4 children in that room that will be exposed to family violence. We also know that family violence is the #1 cause for homelessness for women and children in Australia. So just picture for a moment, you're at the MCG. It's a sellout crowd. You're at your favourite event. It might be the football. That is roughly the same amount of women and children who are homeless each year due to family violence alone. So for women and children who are escaping family violence, arriving at a high crisis, high security refuge such as ours at Emerge is an incredibly important first step. It's a place they can stay for the short term to feel safe and secure again and to start to rebuild their lives. We can link them in with outreach services and we can help them on their road to recovery. But the next step on that road to recovery is to go out and find a new place to live, a new place to call home. And they've generally got 3 options, 1, public housing, which can be challenging. There's on average about a 7 to 10 year wait list. 2, go stay with some family or friends. But the women and children we support at Emerge are cut off from their family and friends. They are isolated from their communities due to the fear of being found by the perpetrator. They have no friends' couches to sleep on, and they have no family members' rooms, spare bedrooms to stay in. So option number 3 is to go out and find a private rental property and secure a private rental property. And what we have found at Emerge is that the biggest barrier for these women and children in securing a private rental property is accessing the immediate funds that they need to pay for the initial upfront costs. And those costs are as simple as a month's rent in advance and/or a security deposit. So if we go back to Sarah, once Sarah was safing our refuge, we were able to help her and assist her with our outreach services. And that includes enrolling her children into school, a new school in the new area that they had fled to, helping her put in place intervention orders, and also assisting with financial counselling. But we identified a gap. We identified a big gap in that we weren't able to place these women and children into long-term, permanent and stable accommodation to continue on their road to recovery. So who remembers, who went to uni? Who remembers living in a share house? Yeah, most of us. How hard in those early days was it to save up just for those costs? It was really tough. And you add in, for our women, the added responsibility of caring for children and their needs, such as schooling, clothing and food, and it's even tougher. So what we propose and what we know works with over 42 years of experience in helping women and children escape family violence and rebuild their lives is to set them up with what we call a Fresh Start Fund. This fund gives them the access to the immediate monies that they need to secure their rental property. And this is so incredibly important, this link in their journey to independence. So each fund, the Fresh Start Fund, for each family costs $3,500. Each $3,500 we raise here tonight helps another family. So Sarah, in Sarah's case, we were able to actually assist her. It was amazing the tremendous impact it had on her life. Her children were able to stay in the school that we'd set them up in when they were in our refuge. They were able to start to make new friends and they started to thrive. Sarah felt from the stability, her self-confidence and her self-worth grew, and she was able to start her own cleaning business and start to provide financially for her children on her own for the first time in her life. So please, I ask you here tonight, and I thank you all for coming again. Your support is amazing. I ask you to support more families like Sarah's to begin to rebuild their lives. Thank you.